Hey everybody, what's going on? Welcome back to King Arthur Legends Rise. We're going to talk about one of the equipment dungeons today, the Apolleia. We haven't really talked much about this one. We've done a little bit of work in here, but I figured we would check this one out. I would see what kind of progress I could make, what kind of team I could get rolling in here. So I've been playing around with it a little bit. We're up to a very reliable stage 8 farm that's fairly quick, right? Now we are using Bedivere. So in that regard, it's not your traditional free-to-play team. I am free-to-play, so it is technically a free-to-play team, but Bedivere is not someone that you can just obtain as a free-to-play player intentionally, right? You're going to have to get lucky and pull him. It's also certainly doable without him, but this is what I found for my account that's working. So this will apply to people that have him and want to try to mimic this team. I've tried a few different variations of it. It suggests Ain in here, and I've done a couple with her that are kind of hit and miss. This is the only thing I've built so far that has not failed. It does it 100% of the time, and it's a pretty quick run. So I figure we'll jump in, take a look at a run real quick, and then we'll go take a look at the champs and how they're built and what kind of room there is for improvement with the team and all that good stuff. All right, let's just do one, and we are going to prioritize attacking the boss. And it's an interesting looking run because it looks like sometimes it's going to be pretty bad, but they managed to pull it out. Now, maybe I could swap out Sarah for some more damage and we could just nuke the boss down a little bit quicker, but I need to build some other big hitters. I don't really have any other big hitters built right now. I could lean into Arthur a little bit more. I'm one of the ones that kind of pulled away from Arthur kind of early on. So he's 6-starred, he's sitting there and he's ready to be used. Perhaps we'll think about working him back in. I do have Gawain. I've got a few. I've got a few other damage-dealing champs that I could build and bring in here, but again, this is what seems to be working for me. The big issue in here is like the brainwash and the fears and stuff, and Guinevere alleviates that early enough on. You'll see in a second. Usually she gets brainwashed or something pretty early on, but everybody else still has her protection, so they can't be touched yet. And it's just enough time for us to bully our way through, right? If the run went on for a while, we would be in trouble. But because of her protection and because we have her developed as much as we do, which we'll talk about when we go take a look at everybody's gear and stuff, she's able to protect us just long enough for us to kind of bully our way through the fight. So there you have it. It's a solid, safe run. We might even be able to do stage 9. It might be worth. I feel like our problem on stage 9 would be the wave before the boss more than the boss, but we won't worry about that. We won't try to bother pushing right now. We'll just go take a look at the gear, save a little bit of time. So, who do we got first? All right, so we got Bedivere. We'll talk about him first. Now, I am trying to lean into him pretty heavily and develop him. You are going to want this skilled up. This is really, really nice to have skilled up. If you've already developed him, then what I would recommend doing is using a reset token on him and then skilling him up before you put any resources in him. Because if you reset him, it's going to lock these two so that you only have to skill him up twice to max this, and you don't have to worry about them going into his other skills. And that's a little trick for any champ that you think you might want to develop and skill up. Look at their first skill, and if it's something that you think you want to go ahead and max without maxing the other ones first, skill them up before you develop them, okay? So this one, you want to go ahead and get skilled up, and then you can develop him. And then if you want to start skilling up other stuff, like I would like to get this this done, and like I'm going to eventually skill him up all the way, but the first one's a priority for sure, okay? So we've got 3 purple stars in him. Take a look at his relic. It's got 4 purple stars. It is finally maxed. It took me forever to max it. And I have started putting skill ups in him. Like I said, he hits really, really hard. I want to develop him as absolutely far as I can. He's got 4,300 attack, 20k HP. He's looking pretty good. I'm pretty happy with his build right now. There's definitely room for improvement, but for where we're at in the game, he's doing pretty well for us. So I have him in an attack set and a damage set. And we've got attack percentage, and attack percentage. You could probably get away with putting crit damage here if you had one as well. I don't recommend necessarily putting crit rate on him because he's going to take care of that himself. He's going to pretty much take care of his own crit rate, or at least give himself much better opportunities to crit rate. So, I'm sorry, to land critical hits. So I would probably lean crit damage here over crit rate. But if you wanted to put crit rate there, you of course could as well. But pretty much just stack his attack percentage up as high as you can get it. Attack percentage and crit damage, and he will bang for you. He hits really hard. And then down here we've got hit accuracy. Again, we're just kind of using what we've got for now. We're not really able to optimize these spots the way we would like to, but just whatever you've got down there. The important stuff is getting the attack percentage or crit damage on him. All right, but I would recommend attack set. I like the damage set as a secondary one, and that's pretty much it for him. Just set him up to hit hard, and he'll do it. it's pretty straightforward. He's a bad dude. Kay, we've talked about in a lot of detail. She's at 3,600 attack. You see the difference in the way that legendary stats scale, right? She's got 6 purple stars. Her relic is also 4-star and maxed. But those legendary stats just scale way differently. She's also not optimized in her gear. I'm still working on sorting her gear out completely, but decent enough stats. And I have started to skill her up a little bit. We'll of course max her as well. She's somebody I'm going to continue to use for a long time. She's in an attack and crit rate set. And again, ideally you'd go attack percentage, and then here crit rate or crit damage or attack percentage, whatever you've got available to you. This is what I have. And again, I still don't even have an attack percentage. I cannot get her an attack percentage amulet. I just can't make it happen for some reason. So she's still rocking flat attack for now. One of these days we'll get that upgrade and it'll be great. Down here, we've got flat attack, evasion, which again, I highly recommend on her. I think evasion, the better you can get her evasion, the more of a problem she's going to be, particularly in arena, but it's nice to have everywhere. And then here we lucked up and rolled a Pierce banner, so we threw that on her. And that's where we're with her. Again, skilled her up quite a bit as well. She's well worth the skill ups. From there, we've got Guinevere, who is not really that far developed. I was building her, I was putting some effort into her pretty early on, and I've moved on to other things, so she's kind of underdeveloped, but still performing well enough for us here, okay? So she would be an example of one that you would want to skill up before you developed, because it's very, very important, specifically for what we're talking about in this video, that you have this skill maxed. You need these extra turns of romantic reversal, because that's what's keeping you from getting the brainwash and the fear and all that stuff. So she'll catch it, but the other allies won't. So this has to be skilled up for this to work in the way that it's working for me anyway. So she would be another one that I would recommend if you've already developed and you don't have this maxed and you don't want to risk burning the resources elsewhere. Just reset her, skill up her, skill 1, and then develop her, okay? But this needs to be done for what we're using it for, because it's what's protecting the team. And that's really all she's doing for this fight. I just have her locked into her A1 so that she's not soaking up any vigor for the rest of the team. She's not using her A2 or A3. The rest of it honestly doesn't matter. As long as she's there and can put that buff up on everybody, that's pretty much it. We've got her in life and like old life and defense sets. We've got her HP percentage full there, but like no purple stars. Her relic is not really that well developed. You don't really need a lot in her except that skill 1, and for her to be semi-tanky and present. That's really all you need out of her, all right? So pretty nice there. And then I'm using Sarah as the healer because I have her in a wind relic that's already fairly developed, and it's an ice boss. So I figure the wind healer is better than maybe Clementine. So again, she's also probably interchangeable, and it might even be worth trying another damage dealer or someone else. I do think that that he has some potential with his A3 putting counterattack on everybody. The problem is that it's kind of a coin flip whether he puts it on everybody, but I think putting counterattack on the team could be incredibly helpful. Now, when we get Ain to Chivalry 3, she can take care of that for us. What is the thing that she gets? Yeah, when using skill 2, grants counterattack, but if you get her to Chivalry 3, she just does it at the beginning of the fight. Now, perhaps I could try putting her in and just locking her into using her skill 2, and maybe we'd be able to push our way through it without the heals, and then with the counterattacks, it would be you know, that would be even extra damage. So that might be something I tried, but for the sake of the video and keeping it as close to free-to-play friendly as I could, I'm leaving her out of the equation for now. Bedivere is the only one that, like, you don't have direct access to. And, I mean, if you don't have Bedivere, that's a shame because he does hit very hard and he is definitely helping, but I don't think he's mandatory. I think if you're someone who, like, really developed your Arthur, then, especially if you've got his Wind Relic, which I've heard is very good, he can probably stand in that spot for you and be helpful. Anybody else that just has the capability to do good damage, right? Bedivere is a special example because he's sets himself up in more ways than one to do that extra damage. But I think another damage dealer could do it if I had my Arthur more developed, which perhaps we'll do. Perhaps I'll give him a shot so that maybe when I'm doing stuff like this, I can slot him in and make sure that it's 100% free to play friendly. But yeah, anybody else you've got that can hit hard, I suspect it could work, albeit maybe a little bit more difficult to make happen with gear and stuff, all right? But as far as Sarah goes, again, pretty standard stuff. Just get her HP up, and that's really it. She's got 3 purple stars here. Her relic is pretty underdeveloped. It's okay. She's not skilled up at all. Like, I've done very little with her, you know what I mean? Most of my resources in my healer have gone into Clementine. So here we've just got her in a double life set. She's got flat HP there, HP percentage, and HP percentage here. I don't even have an orb on her yet. Not really super important how she and Guinevere are built. What's really important is that your K can smack, and that your Bedivere or whoever else you're trying to have in that damage dealing spot can do big damage, because you're kind of, the clock is kind of ticking, right? When that romantic reversal runs out on everybody, then it's going to get kind of tough, because then you've got to start dealing with fears and brainwashes and a lot of RNG stuff that is going to interfere with the, like, reliability of the run. You know what I'm saying? So that's pretty much it. That's an example of a team that you could put together if you've got Bedivere and can mirror my, you know, gear and resources that I've put into them, which again shouldn't be hard because I am 100% free to play. So it should be doable. I do now. That's pretty much it. So that's all the information that we officially have for the team. I do want to try to put in Ain real quick and just see what this looks like. So I'm going to go repeat battle 1. We're going to prioritize boss, and I'm going to set Ain to just A2 and see. Oh yeah, skill order settings. I guess I should have said K and Bedivere are A2 into A1. Neither one of them are going to use A3. Guinevere's only using the A1. And then Sarah, I think I just left open, but you could also A2 into A1 if you needed the extra vigor, okay? But that's pretty much the gist of it. I should have said that at the beginning, but is what it is. Maybe I'll try to remember to edit it into the beginning or something. So yeah, I'm just kind of curious to see how it goes without the healer and with having Ain and using the A2. The annoying thing is just like it gets used in the first round, so it goes on cooldown, so we don't have it right away here. It's also, it might also be worth trying just putting in another damage dealer. Like maybe I develop my Arthur. I mean, nothing wrong with that. 1 minute. That looked safer than the run with the healer. Interesting. I wonder what it would look like with Arthur. Now I'm kind of curious about developing Arthur with his Wind Relic. Let me look at his Wind Relic real quick. Ally attack increase. And attack speed increase. Attacks one enemy. I mean, that's a big old hit right there. And he gets additional damage if the target is frost. He could be really good in there. Actually, maybe I'm gonna develop him a little bit. Okay. That might be something we update in a future video. Maybe I'm gonna do that. Maybe I'm gonna see, because that might even push us further. If we just get insane damage in there, we might be able to bump up to stage 9 and possibly even 10, and that could be pretty big for us, if for no other reason than just the resources we get for the forge. So, anyway, that's it. I hope that helps you. Maybe gives you something to play around with as well. Put some ideas in your head about what you can do with your account, and perhaps we'll do an updated version of this soon with Arthur and his Wind Relic, and see how it goes. So that's it. I hope it was helpful. I appreciate you guys watching, and I'll see you in the next one.